right, have and have not fans. This is my review for season 7, episode 16, Counting the Cost. Now, this is my first recording on my new computer, the new setup, so I need your feedback. Let me know in the comment section below. Am I coming through okay? Can you hear me as well as my other layout on the computer? If there are any adjustments that need to be made, again, just let me know in the comments and I'll work on it. So, again, let's just hop into this episode review. I know it's late, but I made post about it on social media and I talked about it in the live stream I did a few nights ago. Between replacing my phone and the computer, that did set me back a couple of days, but guess what? No new haves and have nots next week due to the presidential debate, meaning that there really wasn't a rush to get the video out, even if my computer had been fully operational, because this episode was entitled Counting the Cost, but I was literally counting the remaining minutes of the episode because not much happened. And you all know how I am. Like, I'm not pulling punches. I feel like most of the fans and viewers do the dragging of the show for me as opposed to me having to do it myself. And it's not coming from a place of hate or spite. It's just the fact that this show's boring as hell now. Yes, I do know there are 4 episodes left. Well, Jeremy Tyler can do what he wants to, because that's usually how it goes. Most of the season might be lackluster and then the last couple episodes are really good, but I have to say that this entire season, for the most part, has been boring as hell. And it's sad. So, before we go any further, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, even though you may not have liked the episode. Let's try to get to 50 likes on the video. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Thank you all so much. We just recently hit 142,000 subscribers. Also, follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And finally, click that bell and select all. That way you're notified whenever I post new content to the channel. Now, we're already at the 2 or 3 minute mark. This review is not going to be long. Let's just hop into it. As expected, Wyatt was not directly shot. Vinny tells off Sandy for being a wimp, and Sandy leaves. Then Vinny talks with Wyatt for a while. In a way, he's kind of trying to... It's kind of like what Mama Rose was doing with Catherine when they were in jail together. Pretty much, how'd your boy turn out so... How'd he turn out the way he did? When you handed him everything and whatnot, what kind of parents are you? Or what kind of parenting did you do for Wyatt to turn out the way he did? And Vinny's trying to figure out the same thing. It's like with what your parents, who they are, the resources you have. If I were you, like, I'd be president or something. All the opportunities given to me if I was in your position. And then Wyatt starts like, hey, don't you be crying on me. I'm not a psychiatrist. He was asking some very interesting questions of how Wyatt became the way he was. And to be honest, this could have been an interesting portion of the episode, but we kind of just passed by it like nothing. He's pretty much saying the only reason you're alive is for the $1 million. And it's safe to say that if Mama Rose didn't want the $1 million ransom, I think Vinny would kill Wyatt just to do it for revenge. And notice the inconsistency where he was pointing to the scar, which was in the opposite side of his neck from the other episode, where 2 episodes ago, where Wyatt walks into the bar and no, actually, I think it was the last episode. At the beginning of the last episode, that's when Wyatt was standing up at the bar and Vinny led him to the back. So yeah, basically last week, this scar thing is inconsistent. All right, so then we go over to the next scene. Benny's on the phone with Rihanna, Sandy's ex-girlfriend, and basically it's arranging a meeting to look over houses. Candace like, don't be a douche about it. And apparently this is the one line. I feel like this line alone is the biggest takeaway from the episode. Candace is saying that she's not feeling well. And people are instantly saying, she's pregnant. She's pregnant. Guys, we don't know, but I'll probably do a video on it. And then he makes a joke about $18 for a bottle of water. And then he leaves to go check out the house situation. Candace calls Mitch to come over so they can talk. And the only thing of relevancy here is she's staying at the Chase Regency Hotel in room 759. So we've had the Sarandon Hotel, the Artesian Hotel, and now we have the Chase Regency Hotel. Conley has a brief scene with Landon asked about Candace Young, and it's pretty much a back and forth where, you know, if things go right, Landon will be press secretary, but that's only if he's able to hold his job. You know, because he's really on thin ice with Charles due to the whole situation with Candace that really wasn't his fault because Landon was trying to warn Charles about Candace since day one, but whatever. And Conley just wants to know about Charles and if he's in love, and you know, Landon's like, it's not really my place to say this, and Conley's like, fine, you know what, I'll call her up myself if I need to, and he decides not to because Landon gives good advice. It was pretty. This entire storyline is redundant at this point. All right, so then we go over to Veronica, still trying to get with Samuel, who I'm just going to call the pool boy. Calls him inside, flirts with him a bit, tries to seduce him, doesn't really work. Goes back outside. She's just undressing him with her eyes, saying that kind of dumb, but you look good. You'll be drinking and in bed with me before you know it and cheating, and that's damn, now that I think about it, wasn't this the only Veronica scene of the episode? Wow. Okay. Mitch comes over to Candace. They talk about the whole situation about, hey, I gave Benny some bad intel on Derek, so we'll keep him in the wrong direction, but I'll keep an eye on him. And they have a brief heart-to-heart about the whole Charles situation about, yeah, I actually still love him because I thought he was really the guy who would change everything for me, you know, but then I find that after all the things I've done in my life, every time I turn around, they come back to haunt me. And it's times like this happens like every season where Hannah reflects on things like this and pretty much says the very things that Hannah has been telling her all of her life. But you know what, I want to take this money and start over. And then Mitch is like, well, don't be surprised if he pops back into your life again. It's like, yeah, right. Landon said something like that. Well, yeah, maybe he knows what he's talking about. But I actually did like what Mitch said. It's not that he doesn't love you, but he's the president-elect. He had to make a choice. He didn't lie to you about anything. He just, and to be honest, yeah, that was a very interesting perspective. I like that. Then we go over to the Madison's apartment. I did the video and I was right. Colby was the name of Madison's ex. I can see why people were taken aback by the scene in terms of unnecessary. Not just, I've had some people message me and talk to me about this. Some homosexuals and some who are not, but they all had the idea that, or the perspective that Tyler Perry tends to write gay people as these thirsty, rude, and obnoxious sorts of people, and I think I agree with that, at least based off what we've seen, especially in this show. But that's not to say like Kyle from The Oval is another good example of that. Yeah, again, not being part of that lifestyle, I can't really say that if it's offensive or not, but given the fact that I've had a decent amount of people hit me up since Tuesday night's episode, again, both homosexual and heterosexual, I feel like it seems a bit uncomfortable for everyone involved to see characters written like this. And my question is this: is Colby the same crazed ex, the one who was Madison's partner for a while, who kind of put him in a similar situation to Justin and Jeffrey? Like, for example, this Colby, he said they broke up about a year ago, but they kind of hook up from time to time. And remember, Madison said he handled that situation and then he moved away to Savannah. So is this Colby someone who Madison regularly sees? Or is Colby like a Justin and just kind of broke into the apartment? And, you know, we'll find out, because apparently, Jeffrey's going to be Madison for lunch, and then Colby's like, oh yeah, I'll go too. It's like, fine, let's do this. Let's go. And, he just makes those remarks about, I don't even want to say what he said. It's just basically losing it over Jeffrey. And again, it's like these Harrington men or something else. I don't know. David and Jim is like, oh, thank you, Jesus. That was Hannah's password. They find the cars at the Iron Bone bar. And Jim calls Mama Rose to try to see if there's anything he can do to stop what's going on, to see why it was abducted. But Mama Rose's phone has been disconnected, and David rushes over to um, see how things are going. But I think there was this one line where Jim is once again trying to get out of bed. Look, guys, he is not leaving that hospital this season. I mean, it seems pretty clear Jim is not getting out of that bed until next season, if that. And he's pretty much like, what are you talking about me not going down there to try to go after my son? You were trying to go after your wife after she, no, what did David say? It's like, I don't think it's a good idea for you to go after your son who just tried to shoot you or kill you. It's like, well, David, it didn't stop you from going after your wife after she tried to burn you up, burn you alive in the house. I like that. Good nod to continuity. Then we go over to Tanner. Again, kind of a secondary storyline that people were talking about after the episode. Here's the thing. Compelling story. Background for Justin. I'm like, holy crap, that's deep. Basically hanging with his cousins when he was 6. Now, it wasn't clarified if these cousins were female or male, but either way, he was apparently playing with pom-poms and whatnot. I'm guessing that their dad died when they were young, and that's when Tanner became the man of the family and pretty much made 6-year-old Justin have sex with a 15-year-old girl. And apparently Tanner didn't see anything wrong with that because he was 6 when the same thing happened to him. So that brings about a lot of questions, which I'll save for a separate video. But let me say this much. I don't feel bad for Justin because of the fact that Tyler Perry has waited too long to give this character any kind of sympathetic backstory, because I don't feel sorry for him. Again, a traumatizing experience, and like I said, I'll save the full thoughts on this for another video, but it's way too late for this. You can't, no. But this could explain something where, remember Justin's ex-wife, who was a judge, the few times we saw her on screen, you just noticed that she looks a bit older than Justin, or a bit old for Justin, and this kind of explains it. I could tell that Justin's family probably just pushed him into this arranged marriage with a successful female, and she just so happened to be a few years older than him. So there we go. David is removed from the bar. I mean, literally, that's it. David goes down like, hello, do you know who I am? No, I don't. Get out of here. We're not open. Wyatt Cryer. There's a car. Get out of here. And then that's it. I need to speak with Mama Rose. Get out of here. That's literally it. David's kicked out of the bar. And then Vinny comes up, tells Sandy that he's a wimp. You need to stop being this way. Look, Mitch isn't in the family. He doesn't want to be in the family. Mama Rose retired. You're the only one left. And you don't even have kids of your own. Like that girl you were with, she got rid of the baby and stuff. And he's like, yeah, we can't lose the power of the family. The Malones can't be taken over by the blacks or Jews, which begs a lot of questions because, I mean, it seemed like the Malones were being built up. Well, excuse me. They were being further built upon to be like these staples of villains or a powerful force from hiding in the shadows. But now all of a sudden, just because Mama Rose stepped down and Sandy isn't living up to the family name, there's a danger of the family being taken over by blacks and Jews just because 3 players decided not to come to the court today. Because again, Mama Rose stepped down. Well, yeah, I guess you could say Mama Rose was the captain. She stepped down. Now, Vinny is the captain. And Mitch, who is a potential star player, doesn't want to be on the team. And then Sandy, who pretty much has been benched, or I guess you could say has been on the court, but he hasn't, scored any points. He just wanted to flaunt the family name because he could. I mean, Sandy being the decisive factor doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because it seemed like we were getting more and more Malone members introduced. And just because Sandy isn't, living up to his namesake, the family's in danger of, then again, this abrupt shift in how powerful the family is just as random as Mama Rose deciding to retire out of the blue. Okay, we're almost done here. Marty stops by briefly to tell Hannah about, hey, 6 o'clock tonight, if possible, Don and John, the accountants, want to meet with you. And they pretty much briefly talk about the robbery. And Marty tells Hannah that Wyatt escaped police custody at the hospital and he'll look into it more. And that's, yeah, there were a lot of scenes in this episode, but they were just pointless. They were just like 30 seconds long or whatever, or 2 sentences exchange. Let's see here. Catherine is talking with Kendrick, the officer who went to school with Amanda. Basically, he brings her a sandwich that she would actually want to eat. And he pretty much fills her in that Wyatt's okay, but he escaped from the hospital. There's no telling where he is now, and he broke into your house. And look, I can't lose my job trying to help you out, getting a phone call and whatnot. I can't make a phone call for you. I'm making $50,000 a year. And she's like, how are you living off of that? I live a modest life. Well, I will pay you anything you want if you can give me this call. It's like, look, my boss, Chief Shepard, comes in. He's a Malone informant. Catherine wants more comfort, which I don't know what Catherine Cryer expected. She's been in jail before. Why the hell is... Okay, whatever. So she pretty much figures out, oh, so you're on the... I guess you could say the Malone's payroll, and they're not getting a dime from me, and she doesn't believe that Wyatt's in custody of the Malones. And then after she is saying that I'm going to get even with her, the chief leaves, calls the Malones to say Catherine said no. But going back to Kendrick, I'm like, when she said $50,000, that's all I'm thinking to myself. Well, then again, Catherine is an heiress, so $50,000 to her is just a shopping spree, if you know that. And I'm like, $50,000 is a lot. I'm not saying that should be all you shoot for, but at the same time, it's not something that you can't live off of. Whatever. I don't know. Again, I get her position though, because she scoffs at $50,000, but she doesn't realize, like, how much money do you think Hannah or Celine, their base made price, not child support, not Celine's child support, but it's like, how much do you think these people get paid? Like, when you say 50,000, this is a good discussion point. It's like $50,000. Like, how much did the pool boy or the gardener, like, the people on Catherine's payroll, did they make more than 50,000? I don't know. Whatever. All right. So, Rihanna meets with Benny. Obviously, she's on the phone with Sandy. She's upset. Benny walks in, looks over some houses, and that's pretty much it. Veronica calls Benny saying, I got intel on Derek. He was in the Savannah jail. I know he assaulted your mother. Benny wants to know the address so he can kill him. And that's the end of the episode. 2 out of 10. Like, for real, that 2 out of 10. I have nothing else to say. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How'd you like the episode? Make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe. As I mentioned before, please do. And let me know what you thought of the episode. And yes, please, how was the audio on this video? I really need to know if it's anything different so I can make the proper adjustments. And as always, if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month.